everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I'm bringing you a deck centered around Mega Slowbro EX from Evolutions. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. And as for the question of the day, what is your favorite Pokemon tool? Now, that can be anything from Spirit Links to like Life Dew, Rock Guard, that type of things, as long as it is a Pokemon tool. If you had to ask me, I would say that my favorite tool would be Silver Bangle, just because I am inherently a fan of anything that boosts damage. So things like Muscle Band, Fighting Fury Belt, I am I'm a very big fan of. And also, I mean, technically you could say G Booster is one too, but I don't know. That's too specific. I like more tools that can go on almost anything, have a lot more versatility. And while Muscle Band goes on anything and boosts damage by 20, sorry, Silver Bangle does 30, Muscle Band does 20. I am more of a fan of Silver Bangle just because everybody likes an underdog. I like being a non-EX, hitting for 30 more damage against EXs and stuff like that. So that's why Silver Bangle is my favorite, just because of the damage output and because it kind of boosts the underdog stories of TCG and lets those non-EX attackers compete with the big bad EXs that are running so rampant in the current format. Let me know what your favorite tool is and why in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. On to the deck. Like I said, this is centered around Mega Slowbro EX from the Evolutions expansion with 220 HP. So I mean, it's kind of bulky, not too bulky. I mean, it's only 10 HP away from being one of the lower Mega EXs, so I was kind of disappointed when I saw that it was 220. I was kind of hoping it would be 240, that way it could be a lot more bulky. But either way, it has the low roll spin, 100 damage, plus 100 if you used it last turn, and also Mega Slowbro is now confused for 3 water energy, so it's very specific. It takes a turn to really get going, but once you can get this guy going, he actually can really run through decks. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Mega Slowbro EX is incredibly non-competitive because there are so many things that can disrupt low roll spin from being able to consistently do 200 damage, like Pokemon Ranger, Escape Rope, Lysander, all of that type of stuff. So Mega Slowbro gets disrupted really easily, and then you're basically only doing 100 for 3 specific energy, which is not very good, particularly for a Mega EX, and especially the fact that Mega Slowbro has a hefty 3 retreat cost and only 220 HP. It really is just not very competitive. It's still a cool deck to use, and I actually really enjoyed using it, but it's not competitive in the least. So you might be thinking, okay, how the heck are we going to get Mega Slowbro to work? It has the 3 energy, which, okay, Mega Turbo, you can get those pretty easily. Has 220 HP, which isn't a lot, but with things like Rough Seas, Pokemon Center Lady, you can make it a little bit more bulky. But it gets confused after it uses its attack, so how are we going to work around that? Well, there are 2 different things you can use, and I would like to put a disclaimer that in the first couple matches that I do with this deck, you will see a Manaphy in the deck that is not obviously in the final draft. That was from a previous iteration of this deck in which I used Chaos Tower and Manaphy to be able to mitigate the confusion. But in practice with that, it really didn't work that well, just because Mega Slowbro would get knocked out, all of that. And I'm of the opinion, if you're going to go with a gimmicky strategy like Mega Slowbro, you have to go all out, you have to go all in on Mega Slowbro as your attacker. Keep it attacking, make it as bulky as possible, keep it alive as long as possible, and that's why I came up with this list that you see before you, and I'll get into the different cards that make Mega Slowbro last as long as it does and how to counteract the confusion in my build of the list. But I just wanted to point out that a Manaphy build with Chaos Tower is definitely viable. I just kind of preferred this list over that type of list. On to the Pokemon. I'm running 3 Shaman because Shaman is Shaman and Shaman is amazing. And I'm running 2/2 of Sneasel and Weavile. Now you might be thinking, this is a water deck. Why the heck are you using a Dark-type Pokemon in this deck? Well, that's because Weavile has the ability Tear Away. As often as you like during your turn, you may put a Pokemon tool card attached to one of your Pokemon into your hand. Now again, you might be thinking, where is the synergy there? Well, obviously, Mega Slowbro needs the Slowbro Spirit Link in order to Mega Evolve without costing a turn, which is something that Mega Pokemon desperately need. But if you have a Spirit Link on there, you cannot utilize Heavy Boots, which is the part 3 of this strategy. Heavy Boots, if the retreat cost of the Pokemon this card is attached to is 3 or more, that Pokemon gets plus 20 HP and can't be confused. That is huge for Mega Slowbro, because Mega Slowbro has the 3 retreat cost for Heavy Boots to work, and it will not only become insanely bulky at 240 as opposed to 220, but it will also mitigate the confusion that is the severe downside of low roll spin. I mean, don't get me wrong, low roll spin is not a very good attack, but being confused on top of that just makes this card very unplayable, so you have to get rid of the confusion somehow. Heavy Boots is my way of working around that, and the reason I'm using Heavy Boots as opposed to Chaos Tower is because a lot of the metagame right now is focused on stadiums, and every single deck has stadiums and counter stadiums and stuff like that, so you might not always have Chaos Tower when you need it. There is little to no energy hate in the current metagame apart from things like tech cards like Beedrill EX, Minchino, Rattata, but not a lot of people are running those currently, so there is not a lot of tool hate at all. So Heavy Boots is a lot more reliable on Mega Slowbro than Chaos Tower, so that's why I decided to go with that. And one thing definitely worth mentioning, I came across an interesting interaction in a previous iteration of this deck where I still had Manaphy in it. I had transitioned from the Chaos Tower to the Heavy Boots, and I still had Manaphy in this deck. If you have Manaphy out, Heavy Boots will not work on Slowbro because Manaphy gives it 0 retreat cost, and Heavy Boots only works on Pokemon with 3 retreat. So that is just something to keep in mind. That's something I learned the hard way, and yeah, I mean, I got rid of Manaphy, and I ended up getting a very good match in the end with this version of this deck, so I'm really looking forward to showing you guys that. And yes, I am having to post-narrate this. I'm sorry. The first version of this deck obviously had the Manaphy, so I had to come back and give you the newest version. But anyway, like I said, 2-2 of Sneasel and Weavile because those guys are integral to the strategy, and then 3-3 of Slowbro and Mega Slowbro. On to the items, we're running 4 Mega Turbo to help power this guy up as quickly as possible and keep attacking every single turn, even against decks with a lot of energy hate. So that's why we're running 4 Mega Turbo, 1 Super Rod to put some stuff back in the deck, like if you have to Sycamore away, 2 Weavile or something like that, you can put those guys back in the deck to be used later. 2 switches, we don't have Manaphy in this deck, like I said, because it ruins the strategy with Heavy Boots, so we will have Pokemon with very heavy retreat cost, being Slowbro and Mega Slowbro. If you put one down on the bench and your opponent Lysanders that in, just use a switch, get those guys back into the active, and start attacking again. 4 Trainer's Mail to help with consistency, 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out. You could use Dive Ball, but considering this strategy depends on having a Weavile, which cannot be found with Dive Ball, I decided just to go straight for Ultra Ball. You could definitely throw Level Ball in there, but I just like the consistency of Ultra Ball. It's a guaranteed anything you want. Admittedly, you have to discard stuff, but this deck does not necessarily mind discarding things like Energy for Mega Turbo and then supporters to be used with VS Seeker. So discarding stuff with Ultra Ball isn't the end of the world. We're using 4 VS Seeker to reuse all of our supporters, and as for the supporter line, I'm running a pretty weird one overall, and let me explain each one. I mean, you have my Bare Bones. I mean, I usually run 4 Sycamore, but I'm only running 3 in this deck just because I needed to make room for some other stuff. But you have the 3-2 of N and Sycamore, which is typical for me, and then the 1-1 of Lysander and Ranger. Again, very typical for me. That's just what I'm comfortable with. But I'm also using 2 other trainer cards as well in Hex Maniac and Pokemon Center Lady. I'll start with Pokemon Center Lady. This one heals 60 damage and all special conditions from your Pokemon. This works well with giving Mega Slowbro even more longevity and also getting rid of that pesky confusion if for whatever reason you can't go for the Heavy Boots, or you can't get the Heavy Boots out, like you were unable to get a Weavile, or you had to discard your Heavy Boots or something like that. So Pokemon Center Lady can definitely help with that, as well as getting Slowbro that longevity, because now you have a Mega Slowbro with 240 HP that can't be confused and is hitting for 200 damage. Your opponent will only be able to chip away at it, so you want to give it as much longevity as possible. That is where Pokemon Center Lady and Rough Seas both come in incredibly handy. Healing 90 damage potentially per turn between those two is absolutely amazing, and also you can get rid of confusion if you need that. And then I'm running 1 Hex Maniac because, as you can tell, pure EX based deck. I mean, we have no attackers that aren't EX. Weavile can't even attack because we're not running any darkness energy. So if our opponent ran a Safeguard Pokemon, we would be completely screwed. Hex Maniac is in there to shut that thing down and be able to knock it out with a low roll spin from our Mega Slowbro, and also potentially disrupt our opponent because this deck is kind of slow and funky, so you need whatever advantages you can get. So that's why we're running 1 Hex Maniac and 1 Pokemon Center Lady. 3 Rough Seas to give Mega Slowbro the incredible longevity that we need in order to get it set up and then to start plowing through our opponent's team. I mean, at best, you'll be hitting for a low roll spin for 200, which is what you want, turn 3, and that's in the most ideal situation, which is just not fast enough, so we need to have this guy have some longevity, be able to take hits, and then start dishing it out. 3 Heavy Boots. I mean, we're running 3, you could run 2, but I like 3 just because it gives consistency. 3 Slowbro Spirit Link for our Mega Slowbros, and then 10 Water Energy to have them as soon as we need them, and also have some in the discard pile, but also be able to draw into some. So yeah, I mean, that's a deck. It's fairly straightforward. I tried to make it as streamlined as possible to make it work, but I'm done rambling. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against, Olkey? I was about to say Oakley, but that is not Oakley, that is Olkey with a fire deck, so this should be pretty interesting. We do win the coin flip, that means we do get to go first, so that is pretty neat. We can potentially get set up, and okay, start with a Shaman. Alrighty, that's the last thing we want to start with, but unfortunately that's what happens sometimes, so I just have to roll with it. Let's go ahead and put the Shaman right there. And, I mean, at least I get to go first so I can get the Shaman out of harm's way. Although I don't think my opponent will be able to do much. And, my opponent's running a Typhlosion deck, and what the heck, why? I don't get why my opponent had a Talonflame in their opening hand and didn't start with it. I mean, I guess that happens sometimes. You assume that TCGO is going to understand what you mean, and then when you click for the mulligan, but then it just doesn't happen. So you end up putting a Talonflame back into your deck that you wanted to start with, and yeah, I mean, that's just part of paying attention. I will admit I have definitely done that a good amount of times, so no one of us is without sin. Let's go ahead and play the Slowbro down. Sorry, that really does look like a Slowpoke. I'm sorry. That looks like a Slowpoke EX evolving into a Mega Slowpoke EX. But okay, so we get something. Well, my Shaman is not in trouble at this point, so what I can do is, if I can get a double, well, okay, never mind. I was about to say, if I could get double Mega Turbo, then I would be able to evolve into Mega Slowbro next turn and just go ahead and knock out. Well, okay, there's 1 Mega Turbo, and if I'm able to draw into another one with my Sycamore, then I will be able to double Mega Turbo, knock out the Cyndaquil, and pretty much just win the game if my opponent does not get anything else down. So if I can double Mega Turbo onto my, well, I guess I'd have to have a Mega Slowbro. And, oh, there's a second Mega Turbo, but I don't have the Mega Slowbro. That is brutal. So what I'm going to have to do is actually, oh, that hurts. I'm going to have to discard the Mega Turbo. Oh, that hurts a lot. And, wait, do I even get a Mega Slowbro? Well, okay, I can get one with the Ultra Ball. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the N and the Rough Seas to grab. Do I want to grab a Shaman or just a Mega Slowbro? I think my best play is to just go ahead and grab a Mega Bro, play that guy down, and then get 2 energy onto it with the Mega Turbo. We'll get 1 energy onto it anyway. Sorry, I already attached for the turn, and if I had the second Mega Turbo, I would have just won right there, but unfortunately, I did not, so my opponent will survive another turn. If he knocks out the Shaman, it's not a big deal. I have a Water Energy in hand and a Sycamore, so I'll be able to draw into a fresh hand of 7, and I play the Heavy Boots down onto the Slowbro EX on my bench, just because I'm going to need to get a Weavile in play at some point, so I might as well play that down, because there's really no downside to playing it down onto the field, because there's no energy hate apart from like Minccino and the new Rattata, but well, either way, don't have to worry about it because we do just win because my opponent forfeits. I think he couldn't do anything and couldn't do anything to disrupt me, so we did just take that first game. That was a very quick and easy. I really didn't have to do much at all. My opponent really just didn't draw into anything. And it's unfortunate that he started off with the Talonflame in his opening hand, but decided to mulligan or misclicked and mulliganed. So it's unfortunate there, but let's just go ahead and try to find another one. Hopefully actually get an attack off this time. Alrighty, we have found another one against Jensuru with a full metal deck. So, full metal deck, full metal impact, full metal jacket. I don't know. There's so many references you can make. We do win the coin flip, so that is great for us. We will get to go first, and oh no, I'm going to have to discard more Mega Turbos with my Sycamore. This is not what I want to be doing. Oh, this is a brutal opening hand. I mean, at least I have a supporter, but oh, that is awful. Okay, come on, give me an N. Give me an N. Nothing. Oh gosh, that sucks so much. Gonna have to get rid of 2 Mega Turbo, 2 VS Seeker, and the only thing I was able to play down was the Spirit Link. That sucks so much. But either way, I mean, I am just gonna play down my hand as much as I can. I mean, I can, if I can get the one last Mega Turbo in my deck, or 1 or 2. I don't remember exactly how many I played. If I can get one of my last couple Mega Turbos, or well, there we go. Okay, so I need to get a Mega Slowbro next turn, and then I can knock out the Beldum. So this is actually not a horrible thing. I would like to have a Sneasel down so I can get a Weavile immediately. That way I can get my Heavy Boots going and, well, not get confused. And my opponent is just going to immediately Wally into a Matang. Is my opponent running a Machine Gun Stomp deck? Because N just completely stops that. And okay, I'm going to play the Sneasel down. Play the... okay, so there's one in the discard pile. Let's go ahead and play the Heavy Boots onto the Shaman because, like I said, if I get a Weavile, it won't matter who the Heavy Boots are on just because I like to have those down on the field. And, oh, that's gross. That's really gross. But I'm going to play the Spirit Link onto the Sneasel because, again, Weavile, I'm able to pick those right back up, and this way they're in play. And, okay, so I actually win because I got the Ultra Ball off that Shaman. I was kind of just going all out at this point. Let's go ahead and grab that Mega Slowbro, play that onto our Slowbro EX, go for the Mega Turbo, get the energy onto the Slowbro, go for the low roll spin, knock out the Matang, and yeah, take that game really, really quickly. That was a little bit better than the first because we actually got an attack off, but it was still very, very anticlimactic because my opponent didn't get much into play at all. So, you know what? Neither of those count. I'm going to try to find another one, and hopefully we don't go 0 for 3 in terms of getting good matches with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one, hopefully a better match against Marco Capoli with a, what is that, like Psychic, Fighting, Water, I don't even know what type of deck my opponent is running, but we will definitely see. Do get the coin flip. We do lose, which is unfortunate. This deck this deck always wants to go first. There is not a situation where this deck would not want to go first since you can't attack turn 1 with this current build anyway. I mean, you could run like a bunch of max elixirs onto Slowbro or something like that, but Slowbro is not who you want to be attacking with. And okay, I start with a, you know what, it could be worse. I have a, start with a Sneasel. It'd be really nice if Sneasel or Weavile had free retreat, and oh my god, what are we up against? I see Crushing Hammer and Team Flare Grunt. This looks absolutely disgusting. I have no idea what my opponent is running, but it looks disgusting. Looks gross. I mean, there's nothing more I can say besides it is utterly, completely disgusting. But either way, we do have to go second. We do get a mulligan card, so that's nice. Get a Trainer's Mail. Could be worse. And, oh no, it's that stupid, it's the Wheezing Mill deck. I hate that thing. I hate how there are mill decks in every single format. I just find them incredibly, I find them incredibly skillless, and I don't like how people spam them. And okay, so I have, get rid of the Pokemon Center Lady and the Hex Maniac. Glad I have Hex Maniac because I'm going to guess that fighting type is going to be Carbink, which is just used to stall, which is annoying as heck. But okay, so I do Trainer's Mail. I actually get a pretty solid starting hand. I'm going to play the Slowbro Spirit Link there. Heavy Boots onto Sneasel just because Weavile can get the Heavy Boots back off of Sneasel and give them to me to play onto the Slowbro. And it's actually not bad. Do I want to do anything further? I mean, I kind of want to hold on to my hand, but you know what? I'm just going to end. I think that it's better if I just play out my hand a little more. And okay, I mean, I can definitely work with this. Let's Trainer's Mail, see what I get. Get a Mega Turbo. So I very well might be able to get a low roll spin off turn 2. Let's just go ahead and retreat into Slowbro. I mean, honestly, that deck, my opponent's deck has no way of damaging me. I mean, unless he plays some sort of weird tech. But if I remember the deck correctly, then it has no means of damaging. It is just entirely about milling through. And crap, I end my opponent into a Bridget. I didn't want to end right there, really, just because I saw that my opponent didn't play much at all. But, I mean, I didn't want to get rid of all those resources either, nor did I want to sit on them. And also, I mean, I'm okay. I like my hand a lot. I like the current hand that I have, so I'm not too particularly worried. And yep, there is the Carbink. I am so glad that I have that Hex Maniac in the discard pile. We see a couple Remoraid hit the bench, and other coughing, and this is gross. I mean, I just kind of had to hope that my opponent isn't able to get too much going. And another reason that I decided to go ahead and retreat my Sneasel into my Slowbro is because we've already seen that my opponent runs Crushing Hammer and Team Flare Grunt. If my opponent went for one of those on my Sneasel and got heads, and he would have gotten rid of the energy that I had in play, and then I would have to attach another one and then retreat, and then I need 3 Mega Turbos to power up instead of just 2 this turn. So that was kind of the method that I had right there. I'm going to go ahead and grab a Mega Slowbro EX, play the energy there, play the Mega Slowbro down, go ahead and Mega Turbo, and if I can get one more Mega Turbo, I will be able to low roll spin immediately, play the Rough Seas just cuz, go for the Shaman, get a couple more cards. I kind of want to counter my opponent's Team Aqua's Secret Hideout, but I mean, this is fine anyway. I get my other Mega Turbo, I get a Weavile, and now I'm going to go ahead and tear away, take the Heavy Boots back into my hand. I am glad that I put those on the Sneasel when I did. Now I have to click tear away again, grab the Spirit Link, play the Heavy Boots onto the Mega Slowbro, and now you get to see how this deck is supposed to work. I knock out this Coughing with a low roll spin, and I'm in a great position. My opponent doesn't really have anything up right now at all. I have a Mega Slowbro that's hitting for 200 damage. My opponent sends out his Carbink. Well, guess what? I have my VS Seekers in hand that I will be able to go for a Hex Maniac and then knock out this Carbink. And this is... oh no, we see the Team Rocket's handiwork, and oh my gosh. Of course my opponent gets 2 heads. Wow, that... oh my gosh, that is so ridiculously frustrating. I mean, at least he didn't discard... okay, at least he didn't discard anything that was particularly useful. I mean, my VS Seekers will be the absolute godsend in this matchup, just because, I mean, I need them for Hex Maniacs and stuff like that. What I am going to do is go ahead and VS Seeker for that Hex Maniac. Go ahead and play that down. I'm not going to play anything else because I do not need to. Go for a low roll spin, knock out this Carbink, and take another prize. And I mean, my opponent hasn't gotten anything else set up, really. So I'm in a decent position, and I get a Slowbro, and I have a Spirit Link, and I have a Mega Slowbro in my hand, as well as Heavy Boots. So I could set up another one. I think I'm going to hold off on that for a little bit. Just because that wouldn't be smart, because then my opponent can Lysander that in, stall, do all that shenanigans. Do you see the Floatstone go down onto the Remoraid? My opponent is just going to go ahead and Sycamore. At least he won't be able to Team Rocket's handiwork and potentially get another heads in. Ah, yes, we see him discard 2 VS Seekers. Sucks to be you. And there is the Team Aqua's secret base. My opponent goes ahead and plays down a Drowsy and a Wheezing. Yep, Wheezing has that Team Rocket's handiwork attack. And, oh boy, as long as my opponent doesn't get a Hypno into play, then it's fine. My opponent does go for a Balloon Bomb. Oh my god, he gets another 2 heads. That, well, and he gets rid of a VS Seeker, so that just sucks. You know what? I don't want to play anything down. I'm just going to, well, first off, I want to counter that stupid Team Aqua Seeker base. And then I'm going to go for a low roll spin, knock out this Wheezing, and I mean, hindsight 2020, I probably should have sat on my Rough Seas just in case my opponent plays another one down in Lysanders in a Shaman or a Weavile. But at this point, I'm just forcing my opponent to have all of the pieces in order to be able to stall me, because he does only have 4 cards in his hand. I mean, admittedly, okay, oh, of course he has the teammates. Of course he has the teammates. So I don't know what my opponent is going to get. At least he can't Team Rocket's Handiwork. I did get rid of a switch, so that could be a little scary if my opponent plays another secret base. At least he won't be able to Lysander this turn, but if he plays like an escape rope or something like that, I'm in a little bit of trouble. Looks like my opponent probably grabbed double puzzle with the teammates, which is a very good play. I will tip my hat on that. Teammates plus double puzzle is a very, very, very good play and is a very strong combination. And okay, it looks like my opponent is just going to grab another Carbink and a Team Aqua's secret base. But on the bright side, he can't Lysander anything in this turn. He is just going to go ahead and retreat into his Carbink, and yeah, he's going to sit on the secret base, which I agree with, because, I mean, you have to... The only combo that you can really do in this situation to slow me down is Lysander plus secret base in one turn. But I'm going to go ahead and Hex Maniac again. That card is coming through so clutch for me right now, being able to shut down those Carbink completely and go ahead and knock them out with my Slowbro. And this is exactly how this deck is supposed to work. Slowbro is just supposed to gain steam. I mean, it gets the energy on it, gets the heavy boots, you get set up, and then it just hits for 200 damage each turn, which is something that some opponents just can't deal with. And okay, my opponent does go for the Aqua Secret Base plus the Lysander onto my Shaman. That's fine with me. What I am going to do is just Sycamore away the rest of my hand. Hopefully draw into my third Rough Seas. That's why I run 3, because that way I can potentially win the Stadium War, but also start off with the Stadium. And okay, my opponent just retreats into his Remoraid. I actually disagree with that completely. What I think my opponent should have done was retreat into his Weezing, because if I can draw into my Rough Seas, I will be able to retreat my Shaman into my Mega Slowbro and then knock out the Remoraid, whereas I would only be able to hit for 100 and not knock out the Weezing. So, I mean, I do draw into my Rough Seas. I was just increasing my odds. Going to go ahead and do that. Go for the low roll spin, knock out this Remoraid. You know, I could have gone for the Mega Turbo, but I didn't feel like that was the best play in that situation. Now, my Slowbro is going to hit for 200 damage next turn, no matter what my opponent does. And that was a little misplay on my opponent. He really should have gone into the Weezing, because there was no way other than... there was no way that I could have hit for over 100 damage next turn. I mean, I have no means of doing that. Weezing would have been safe for one turn, and because he didn't do that, I was able to get my Mega Slowbro back out and take a prize on the Remoraid and put myself 1 prize away from taking this game. My opponent does get a Team Flare Grunt plus a Crushing Hammer heads, which is ridiculous. I don't think my opponent has gotten a single tails this entire game. I think he's gotten like 6 heads, I think, if you include the coin flip. So my opponent has gotten 6 heads and 0 tails, which is completely stupid. Luckily, oh, we do see the Chaos Tower right there. That's fine. I mean, that's one iteration I had of this deck, and oh, my opponent finally gets a tails. What do you know? Doesn't matter. I have the Mega Turbo plus the energy in my hand. This game is over. Screw you, guy who still runs, who runs this mill deck, and Mega Slowbro just completely demolished you. How does it feel? And yeah, able to come away with the win. Mega Slowbro was just able to completely truck through my opponent's entire deck, and we even get the disadvantage win on that one. So that was something that was really awesome. And yeah, you see 7 heads to 1 tail. I mean, that is some ungodly percentage right there. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous that my opponent was able to pull that off. I mean, it happens, but it's still very annoying. In fact, there's a less than 1% chance of that happening. So, I mean, you got to see my luck with coin flips live in action on a TCGO Live. I was finally able to really show what I go through with coin flips. I hope you guys enjoyed this Mega Slowbro deck. Like I said, it's not very competitive at all, and I hope you'll forgive me for the Manaphy faux pas that I had earlier. But either way, fun deck to use. Try it out if you have the cards. If not, don't really bother, because it's not that great of a deck. But if you have the cards, go ahead and try it. It's fun if you can run through somebody with a Mega Slowbro. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.